Oh, hey there, children of the night, and welcome to Bob After Dark, the show that takes you into the shadows and goes and says hello, everything that goes bump in a night. I'm your host with the most, that enjoys toast, Bob, and alongside of me, as always, is my ever wonderful, ever vampiric, ever cape-wearing, and the heartthrob of Bob After Dark, my friend, my brother, my producer, Count Panic himself. Oh, hey there, Count.
Oh, hey, Bob. Yes, back here, another thrilling episode of Bob After Dark.
Yes, hello. It's good to be back.
It's good to have you back.
Yes, another successful week, and
October 1st.
All right, Count. Where's the Veil? The Veil watch.
The Veil is at it's October 1st.
It's October 1st. So you got 3 weeks.
Yes, 3 weeks.
Well, you got 30 days, so a little bit more than 3 weeks.
We're on the fast track here, Bob.
Yeah. So you got 4 weeks realistically until it's at its thinnest.
Paper thin.
So right now you're at like cake batter.
This is yes.
Pancake batter.
We're in our cake batter stage.
Okay, so right now the Veil Between Worlds, guys, is at cake batter watch. Count, weekend update before we move on to why I'm not sitting here alone in our awkward camera angle.
Well, there's only one camera angle.
I know there is only one, but it's extremely wide out this week, so it's just like this lovely person sitting next to me is just sitting.
Well, that's true too.
So weekend update, Count, because the fans demand it.
This weekend, what did I... You know what, Bob? It was a very nice weekend as we transition into that whole seasonal thing from summer to fall. But I can't complain, Bob. Overall, it was a nice weekend. Nothing too crazy, but just a nice, peaceful weekend. Actually, in Wanata, Indiana.
Wanata?
Taking a part of a little bit of some events over there. But
I couldn't even tell you where Wanata, Indiana is.
It's in Wanata.
That's fair. Yeah. All right, Count, there is somebody sitting next to me that I would like you to introduce.
Yeah, we got Jasmine sitting right next to you.
Hello, Jasmine. Is that Jasmine with an S or Jasmine with a Z?
Jasmine with an S.
Jasmine with an S.
Crank her up.
Yeah, can we gotta turn that volume up a little bit. Okay, go back to introducing now.
Jasmine, can you state your full name for the camera?
Hello, my name is Jasmine Rusi from Reaper's Realm today.
Jasmine Rusi, Reaper's Realm. Bob, Reaper's Realm. Probably the most historic haunted attraction in the
south of the city of Chicago. I guarantee it. There's a lot these days, but if they're kind of runs tangent parallel in what I do here. I don't do a lot of haunted houses. I have made an appearance at one, I think. Yeah, I did definitely do one appearance once at one 6 years ago.
6 years ago?
6 years ago, I made an appearance at a singular haunted house.
Well, it's that time of year, Bob.
It is that time of year. I still have bookings available, so if a haunted house wants to reach out,
well, hey.
I'll come out and sign out. You ain't getting me in that building, though.
I think we'll talk to Jasmine after the show here. But Jasmine, Reaper's Realm, I know there's a big year coming up, but before we get to all that, tell us, what do you do with Reaper's Realm?
Alrighty, so I started when I was 18, so I have been at this haunted house for about 14 years. I'm kind of a woman of everything, so I have done a ton of things. I do the set design for it. I have been behind the scenes as like an actor coordinator. I also am doing the airbrush makeup this season for it. So basically anything the haunted house needs, I have been there. We love everyone being versatile, everyone being cross-trained, and it just kind of helps so you can put your hands a little bit of everywhere. My favorite thing, though, is the set design part of Reaper's Realm, and I get to put so much love into creating those sets, and so much time and energy, and a lot of behind the scenes goes into that, too.
That building is massive building.
Yes.
Right there. What's the exact address there, Jasmine?
626 177th Avenue. And I love that place so much, I actually have 626 tattooed on my arm. That's how devoted we are to the haunted house.
Bob.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Bob needs to get the address to the station tattooed to him.
I always said I wanted a Count Panic's face tattooed on my back.
That'd be fun. I think.
Just right there on my shoulder blade.
I would approve of that. Bob.
You should. Then would you get my head tattooed on your shoulder?
Jasmine, tell us about the time. But no, Reaper's Realm, of course, the set alone. It's been a few years since I've been there, but I know every year it was kind of a tradition with the Boy Scouts where we would go to Reaper's Realm. South Shore Steph in the background there, getting some camera footage for the South Shore Convention and Visitor Center. But beside the point, that was always the place to go. Every year, the Boy Scouts would take a trip to Reaper's Realm, and just walking in there. I mean, the giant slide to go down. I mean, all the characters you would encounter, from the clowns to Michael Myers to Jason. Bob, it's pretty terrifying.
I would say so. Let me let you guys in on a little secret. I am absolutely petrified of haunted houses. Not paranormal haunted houses, but the haunt acting.
Yeah.
The haunt acting aspect. I appreciate it. I hang out with people in that community. I have a lot of haunt actor friends. I don't like being scared with things right in my face.
You had a great quote there before the show. You're afraid of the living.
I'm not so I'm not afraid of the dead. I'm afraid of the living. I'm way more afraid of the living than I am the dead.
Well, before we go to the actual back to the haunt, that's kind of a little good segue there because Reaper's Realm, for years it's been talked about that sometimes there's a history there. Jasmine, you probably could speak on this. Maybe when you're setting up, you could feel a certain presence, correct?
Absolutely, wholeheartedly. So again, being there after hours, lights on, lights off, a couple things usually tend to happen. So we always tend to sit there and yell, is that you? Are you there? Am I alone? The specific upstairs of the house, if you don't know, Reaper's Realm has 3 floors of terror. We love that. So the very top floor is where a lot of the paranormal stuff happens. So am I able to give like a small example?
Give as many as you have the time.
Absolutely.
Take your time.
I love that. So there is a small room that we have. So kind of to get the best effect, you want to work with the lights off and see, okay, with the stage lights on, I want to reorganize this or repaint this and see how it is. So with the house lights being on, you are also hearing all of the audio. So also being in the room, you hear the same thing. Do you want to play a game? And whatever saw lines that he has. So being up there for a couple hours and, you hear the same thing over and over again. And all of a sudden I hear the audio changing. I'm like, is that me? Have I been up here too long? Are these the fumes or is this actually changing? Definitely wasn't the fumes, but do feel like that. Other than that, too, you hear a lot of things going around, bumping in the night. You can see little ghost shadows. You feel those cold presences. And if you've been in that haunted house at the very top, it is god-awful hot in there. Like, heat just rises. So to be in a couple cold spot presents in the house, we don't have AC up there. There's nothing going on. It's a very old building. It was 1920s, 1918, I think. But you just feel a lot of things. A couple other people have experienced seeing, I think the grandmother of the haunted house, Grandma Kay, she would see like a black lab running around. Oh. So that was kind of a weird little presence to have. A couple other people that I worked set design with, they would see a guy in like a boulder hat chilling downstairs on like the main floor. And just weird little things you see around the house. Stuff not being where you left it, but again, there's a bunch of us running around, but sometimes you can't explain it. There was also a news crew, I want to say, back in the 90s that decided to try to stay overnight, and I can't remember what their exact experiences were, but they did not end up staying the whole night. They wanted to do a ghost hunt. They did not make it the whole night.
Have you ever had a paranormal investigation team out there to check it out before?
We have had so many people come and try and want to do it, and for whatever reason, the family is a little hesitant. We had that one in the 90s. We're like, well, is it going to help or hurt us if it is haunted? So I feel like now would be a perfect time to do that.
I was going to say, I wish we were here under better circumstances. But unfortunately, we're facing a not so good ending to a very long-loved legacy.
Yes.
So you want to talk a little bit about that? I know it's not fun, but...
Not fun. So we are coming up on our 35th year at Reaper's Realm.
Guys, it's longer than I've been alive.
Wow. I didn't... See, it was always around when I was a kid, but I didn't know it predated even to my...
Predates me.
Existence.
Yeah.
Well, I've been around for a long time. I'm a vampire.
Yeah, I was going to... It doesn't predate. You predates me, though.
My human
That's
form.
nuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 35 years we've been around. Fun story, the owner, John, he actually wanted to start it as a fundraiser for like cops. He's a cop for a very long time. So they were like, okay, let's do it. But then the family decided, hey, this is really fun. This is a really good way to get all of us together. So everyone decided to join in and open this huge enterprise of like a haunted house family. They are also the second longest running haunt in Northwest Indiana, I believe Chicagoland area as well. But yeah. So with that being said, we opened for our 34th season last year, the first time after COVID, and went out with a bang, trying to get it back up, get our clientele back together. And we were surprised to hear about Mayor McDermott filing that eminent domain suit. Don't want to talk too much about that.
No. I will say that we're going to
be...
That's a morning show conversation, and that will get passed to the morning show people, I promise you that.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about the actual...
We're here to talk about the haunt, but, the reason we're having you here is we really want to publicize how important it is to come check it out.
Yes.
And we're not at a death warrant yet. We have a chance still. which is why it's important for you guys to really get your voices out there and save what literally is the biggest piece of Halloween history our neck of the woods has to offer. Even, I'm an internationally known podcaster and radio host, but my fans from overseas and outside Northwest Indiana, I cannot stress to you guys enough how important this place is to our history. 35 years is longer than I've been alive, and I would argue that probably most haunts don't even exist that long. And the dedication, these people got tattoos on their bodies. So listen, I don't know what we're going to do. If I'm going to have to launch a petition in the morning, I will. But, whatever it takes to kind of keep that going, I'm going to try my best.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I see you guys are going all out this year. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just keeping up with social media. You're going to have food vendors out there.
Yeah,
You're going to have... What are you going to have out there?
We are doing so much. We have some super awesome food vendors. Am I allowed to list
Please,
them?
please.
Absolutely. So giving a couple plugs. Dion's Barbecue, if you guys are familiar with him. Very, very good. I think it is Paquitos Taquitos is going to be out there. We have Jody's Italian Ice. There's a couple other things. We are also doing a partnership with South Shore. I think it's Byway, correct? Yes.
Yes.
We got the
I wanted my
thumbs
woo. Yeah, but we're doing a couple different things. So for the first time, we are going to be able to get some adult beverages on there, which is a super fun selling point. So
That's a terrifying combination. Alcohol and people jumping out in front of you, folks.
I
guess the liquid courage, though.
That might get me in there, I'm just saying a couple shots of Malort don't stop me from doing much.
Yeah, but it's such a fun thing. So we're making it to be kind of like this huge blowout, this awesome celebration to celebrate 35 years at this haunted house. And, what better way to come out with your family? Literally, you can bring your kids. You can go and have, a fun family night, go through the woods, go through the mansion, sit and eat, get a funnel cake or do whatever afterwards and just kind of chill and have a good spot to sit and reminisce. What was your favorite scare? What happened? Or you can make it a date night, bring your friends, go have a drink or two, sit there and go through and, you got scared. This didn't happen. I didn't get scared, whatever. It's just going to be such a big fun time for everyone. So young and old, all ages, we got something for everybody, and definitely guaranteed to scare at least you, a few times. I won't say at least once, but multiple times. You'll get scared.
And I see, too, online, there's and this might be more something to check out the website for, but a trip giveaway for certain rooms.
We have this awesome contest where we are offering a trip if you want to come and design the most fearful haunted house experience for anyone. So there's a couple more details on there if you want to go to reapersrealm.com for that. But basically, come in. We are going to have a voting system. If your room wins scariest of all time, you are going to have an opportunity to get that trip. And definitely visit reapersrealm.com for the details on that.
Okay, I'm going to break the rules real quick. Can I make my pitch to you?
Absolutely.
And I'm going to ask you about your character because I have to. All right, let me pitch to you guys my haunted house real quick. And we also have Neil on the phone from Gravesite Paranormal. We'll get to you in a moment, Neil. Hang tight. Hear me out. My haunt is going to be very simple. It's going to be checkout lines at the grocery store. Okay, You're going to go in line and you're going to have your full shopping cart. And assigned to you is going to be a parental figure, father, mother, whatever. And you're going to get right up to that checkout counter, loading the shopping cart, and your parental unit that's assigned you, the scare actor, is going to say, I forgot something, I will be right back.
Oh.
And that's the entire haunt, is you just sitting there waiting for your parental figure to come back while you're loading groceries on the conveyor belt.
Can I add one more piece in there to make it even scarier?
Yes.
It's an Aldi's cashier, so they're scanning very fast.
All right.
Bob could win this trip.
Guys, I won the trip. You don't even have to bother. So tell me, you've been doing this a very long time, and I'm assuming you also act as well, correct?
Yes, I do.
So do you have the same character that you kind of tend to go back to every year? Do you switch it up? Or
I do have her makeup changes a lot depending on the mood, what we're doing, but she's just a demon character, a lovely little scary demon. I'm very short, so I use height to my advantage. I have a nice big stacked heel. But very scary, nice little things going on, dark makeup, very gross, greasy hair. So if you see me, say hi, please.
Do you have a name for the character?
Just ammonia, nothing crazy.
Demonia or ammonia?
Demonia.
Demonia like the shoe, not ammonia like the...
Demonia like the shoe.
No, Demonia like the shoe, not ammonia like the chemical.
Yes.
Now, guys, you want to check out Reaper's Realm, we can find that on the social medias. Where at?
So we are going to be on Instagram. We are on Facebook as well. You can go ahead to our website. We are working on a TikTok, which would be super fun.
Yes.
So, yes, get some fun monster reels in there behind the scenes.
Tomorrow morning, I'm going to start the petition for you guys. Guys, standing here at Bob After Dark, I'm making it an official thing. I'm going to do whatever I can to help save Rupert Realm. I am but one humble late night talk show host, but I will see what I could do to help you guys out. You guys deserve it. I am not a haunted house person, but I will tell you, I will make an appearance on the final round of Reaper's Realm. If this is the final one, maybe you guys will have me and Count Panic come out. Would you guys like that?
I would love that.
Yeah, and how about a paranormal investigation too? I think if this is it, I think you guys deserve some answers. And I happen to be really good friends with the Northwest Indiana Paranormal Society.
So that one I will definitely pass along to the owners.
Owners,
But
if you're listening
I would
right
love
now,
that.
which I'm assuming your owners are watching or listening to this. So hear me out, owners. I'll come out. If this is it, if my petition doesn't work, you're owed some answers, and I could get you those answers. And then I hope whoever bought it out and is ruining this for everybody gets haunted tenfold.
Bob, you're going to put her in a corner here. Yeah, be careful.
I'm not putting you in. Am I putting you in a corner?
No.
I'm just saying. I wish you guys the best of luck, and Count and I will come out and visit you guys this year. And,
Absolutely.
if nothing else pans out, thank you for probably being the biggest haunted attraction for us. You know, growing up in this neck of the woods, and as much as I travel for what I do here, everybody always asks me if I do Reaper's Realm during Halloween. So I know you guys are doing something
Absolutely. We are a legend in the area.
Absolutely. And it's a sad thing. I might not have been, but I'm nostalgic for passing it up. And I remember seeing the old Ferris wheel out there when I was driving by 8094 and being like, yeah, I ain't going in there. Thank you guys so much. And folks, check out Reaper's Realm on all the social medias. And you guys are open. What's the dates you're open throughout the month?
We are open the 11th and 12th for opening weekend. We are also going to be open the last 3 weekends of October and 30th and 31st.
Are you guys open on a Sunday off chance?
Yes, we are.
Okay, let's try to schedule an outing for us because I'm booked every Saturday.
We'll have somebody book us.
We'll get us booked to
Sounds
go there,
great.
and we'll set up and we'll do a meet and greet there.
Sure. Bob.
We'll make that work for whatever Sunday you pick. Make that work. But anywho, go on.
Here's the thing: we got 2 calls.
But one's going to be Neil.
Well, one's gonna be Neil, but I don't know if someone wants to talk to Jasmine here. How about we try this?
Okay, try it once. If this is Neil, I'm sorry.
Okay, is this you, Neil, on this line?
I don't know. Is it?
Neil, we'll be right back.
One
Hang in
second,
there.
Neil.
Sorry, Neil.
Now, let's try this line. Hello.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, this is John. Bob, what happened to Neil?
Oh, he's on the other line. He's next.
Okay, real quick. Good evening, Jasmine. How are you?
Hello, wonderful. How about yourself, John?
Pretty good. Hey, listen, good luck to you moving forward on keeping that building to what it is, all these years of being a haunted house. I wish you the best of luck in that endeavor. Just a few questions, and then, I'll listen, I'll hang up and let you answer them.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned that, how did the creation of this haunted house begin? I know you mentioned the owner wanted something to do with, with something to that aspect of the building. But go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So from history that was told to me, it is the Uncle Johnny. He was a police officer for many, many years, but he wanted to start that out as a fundraiser, I believe. So he took that to the branch of the police department that he was with, and I can't remember if they went through with it or not. However, they did decide between him, his brother, and I think his 2 other sisters, they ended up making that to be one haunted house. So that was the foundation of Reaper's Realm. And just through that, all of their children and their grandchildren and the cousins and nephews and everyone, pretty much a lot of that family has worked in that haunted house in one way or another. So it's just been this really beautiful thing to
Okay, so that was my next question on how did this all come to being? Because it takes awful lot of people, the innovation to think of things like that, to put on 3 floors. It takes a lot of people to set that up. It takes a lot of actors, people to work various things that go on, during the course of that building being open. How did you and how, you mentioned his family, but I mean, there's got to be more to it. How did more people, right? I mean, how did more people get involved in making Reaper's Realm such a success?
Absolutely. So it all started without their family. And, I'm not sure exactly when they acquired, obviously, 35 years ago we got that building. But just through the years, you figure you are a teenager and you recruit your friends and, hey, we're working a haunted house. Do you want to come work with us? Oh, that sounds so cool. And then I know I've recruited several of my friends to come work it. I've recruited my boyfriend at the time to come work with us. And then as far as designing the sets, we have people that have just been around for so long. There's people that have been longer than me, maybe 20 years, that have been building sets and coming up with ideas. And it really is just like a testament to have this family say, hey, we trust you so much. We are willing to let you be a part of this wonderful thing to come in and build these sets. And like, we want to see your vision come to life in this house. But basically coming in, working hard, putting in the time, and all of us just really love Halloween. We love what we do. We love the family environment that it's created. A lot of people that are scare actors, some of them are kind of outcast, and some of them, may not have, a safe place where they feel great and welcomed and appreciated. And then you come here and you have all these people that are the same as you, and they love the paranormal, or they love scary stuff, or they just love the thrill of getting someone scared. And they're like, this is great, and these people are awesome, and I would never have found this if I didn't come to Reaper's Realm. So it's basically you come in.
That is an awesome story, and it's, the word of mouth aspect of it is great. Just one more question. So when that building is not being used, obviously, other than the time about during Halloween, is everything that's in there that's ready for Reaper's Realm, is that in there all year round, or do you guys have a certain time that you go in there and do everything in there to get it ready for opening day?
So the house is not set up throughout the year. What we do is May through, I think, the end of July is when we do fireworks sessions. So the very bottom floor, which we normally have the middle floor of the haunted house, is completely filled with fireworks and everything else. And that's kind of where our offices are and things. And then the basement is torn down at the end of the season. The middle ground is, we have only a few rooms upstairs that remain that are more intricate, and they're more, I would say, like movie level worthy sets. Those stay up. But every beginning of, July or middle of July, we come in after the 4th, we start putting signs up, we start doing promo, we start putting up walls, and then we start decorating. And from July till opening day, we are hard at work every single day, putting in the hours, putting it together. So it's not fully up during the year. We can't just open the doors and do it in. There's a lot of work that has to go in.
So I was just wondering, how earlier you get a start on that. But hey, that's great. And, being there all them years, your hard work is paid off. And like I said, good luck moving forward to this. And Bob,
hi, John.
It's on your shoulders too now.
What's that, John?
I said this place has got to be on your shoulders now too. Since you said you're going to,
I'm going to do what I can.
To bed, right?
I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to do what I can to help.
It all relies on Bob at this point.
We're going to see, man. I am but one measly late night talk show host. That's all I am, guys. But we're going to see.
We are all fired up, and Jasmine, once again, good luck, and I'm sure a lot more people are going to have their voice heard in this.
Awesome. Thank you, John. We appreciate you.
All right. Have a good evening.
Thanks, John. All right. I think we are going to move.
Jasmine, thank you
so much for coming on Reaper's Realm. I'm going to pass this over to Count to get a booking in for us, or at least a process of that.
We'll talk to.
We're going to take a quick break for our live fans, to our podcast fans. Stay tuned.
Well, wait a second here.
What?
Well, actually, you have to take a break to get Jasmine.
I do have to take a break. That's what I just said.
I know, but there's no songs.
So I'm saying live fans will be right back.
Magic of television.
Magic of television. The podcast fans will hear something from a word they should be hearing.
Yes, hello, this is Dan Housen here, very nice for evil, and you are listening to Bob After Dark. Subscribe or be cursed.
I'm folklorist and author Mark Muncy.
And I'm author Erica Lance.
And we host Eerie Travels.
It's a podcast where we discuss all things strange and unusual.
We discuss everything from Bigfoot to UFOs.
From Mothman to haunted locations.
From hidden history to legendary beasts.
From Cocaine Bear to the Jersey Devil.
From holler monsters to conspiracy theory.
We interview amazing guests that are actual investigators into the things that many believe to only be in the world of the imagination.
We also get into verbal debates about which monsters would win in a fight.
If any of this sounds interesting to you, then join us twice a week on your favorite podcast platform.
So look for Eerie Travels, and we'll see you on the other side.
All right, and we're back, everybody. Welcome back. It's me. I was just saying goodbye to our lovely guest this evening. It was, I'm not Steve. When Steve's not here, it's a lonely chair next to me.
Yeah, how about that?
But speaking of lonely chair, I sometimes have people sitting in this chair next to me a lot, and one person in particular was here with us recently-ish. It is my old pal Neil from Graveside Paranormal and a Paranormal Guys podcast. He is a paranormal investigator extraordinary, researcher, historian, and above all, he's a great showman as well. Everybody, may I introduce on the phone is our old pal Neil. Hello, Neil.
Hello, Bob. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for being patient with us as we were just moving through the line here.
No, that was actually very interesting about the Reaper's Realm. I didn't even know that, man. I was just sitting here listening.
Neil, have you ever been to a haunted house before?
Yeah, I've been. Yeah, of course.
Not in the literal sense, not what we do haunted, but haunt acting.
Yeah, I'm kind of like you. I don't like people jumping out at me. But I mean, I'll go in them. I don't like those ones, that you go to that everything's spinning around. Like I hate those ones. God, I hate those ones.
Yes. Anywho, Neil, we have some really exciting news to be breaking to all of you this evening. I have been asked once again to be joining Neil's side on the Graveside Paranormal Tours, and I'll be helping out throughout the evening at a special festival, and I'll let Neil talk all about the 3 dates that you guys will be seeing me out and about this October with Neil and his company.
That's right, Bob. Well, boils and ghouls, this year, Graveside Paranormal is going to pull out all the stops for each and every one of you. I have gotten Bob from Bob After Dark, the man, the myth, the legend. He is going to be out there with me on October 18th and the 25th and the 26th. For the 11th and 18th, it is for our regular nightlife tour. We do a nightlife tour starting October 11th, and it'll be going through every Friday and Saturday night all the way build up to the 25th. I'll be out of 115 Bourbon Street. We'll be taking on a 4.5-hour tour throughout the night, telling you all the spots. Me and Bob will be telling you some of those stories on the 18th and the 25th. It's a very good time. We make sure that everybody on the bus has a really good time, 4.5 hours of nothing but entertainment. There's music, there's entertainment on the bus. And, of course, you're going to have Bob from Bob After Dark on the 18th and the 25th.
Yes.
And then on the 26th, guess who I got again? That's right, boys and girls. Good old Bob.
You got Bob again.
Yeah, I got Bob again. But we are going to do something really different this year. We are going to do a thing called the Seance, Bob.
Yes.
At the famous Roth House in Watsika, Illinois. We are going to be doing ghost tours, and Bob's going to be doing the basement. He is going to be showcasing the basement with the spirit boxes. What we're going to be doing is performing a seance at 7:30 at night on the grounds of the Roth House in the back end of there, the backyard. So we're going to do ghost tours 1 to 7 o'clock, every hour on the hour. You get an hour inside the house. All your audio recordings will go to you, the customer, so that you can be the investigator. After we do that, we are going to go do the seance at 7:30, and then from 9 o'clock till about 2 o'clock in the morning, we are going to start back up ghost tours again every hour on the hour. So we're going to do that. We also have vendors out there. I rented out the Roth House. I rented out the museum that's there. I rented out the train depot for vendors. We're going to have speakers there. So we're actually going to have Father Mike Maginot there, Bob.
Oh, Father Michael, an old pal of ours here on Bob After Dark. Yes.
He's going to be out there. He's going to get interviewed about the Demon House. So he's going to be one of the speakers with Mr. Brad Pate, his assistant to The Exorcist. So we're pulling out all the stops, and everybody knows Pete Christ, right?
Yes, old Pete is one of my favorite people in the entire world.
He is going to be in Indiana. He's going to be doing on the 19th the Monroe House. We have 2 tickets left for that. So if anybody wants that, you go to gravesideparanormal.com, and you can get those last 2 tickets there. And we got many other events. You just check it out. But I'm really excited about hanging out with Bob. Me and Bob are going to have a really good time.
Yes, I am telling you guys right now, those tickets will sell fast, especially the 25th tour on the Friday. I'm telling you right now, that's the weekend of Halloween. If you guys would like to come out and do a ghost tour with Neil and I would highly advise you to book your tickets early because both of those dates will sell out easy.
I'm just letting everybody know right now, a lot of those tickets are almost just about sold out.
Oh, then there you go.
There are some left. And it's not like I'm trying to put a pat on our back, but I will. Is that the minute that they go out, they people start buying them up really, really quick. But I recommend everybody to come out for the seance one in Watsika, Illinois. This is going to be like something you've never done. And, Bob, did I tell you we're doing a documentary?
Yes, you talked to me about that
House
today, yes.
Yeah, we're going to do a documentary. So each and every one of you, if you buy a ticket to this that you have to buy off our Eventbrite, you will be part of this documentary. Well, there's a good possibility you'll be part of the documentary. We also have tickets that are going to be the Inner Circle with Miss Diette Renee, who is the medium, who is going to be doing the seance itself. So we got a lot to offer on this day, Bob. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to pull out all the stops, buddy, because you want to know what? How thin is the veil, right, Bob?
According to Count Panic, we're at pancake batter thickness.
Pancake batter.
Yeah. Well, on the 26th, we should be like, what?
We'll be at tissue paper thin at that point.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Oh, go on, Neil.
Oh, no. You're fine, Bob.
Oh, I was going to say thank you for having me again this year, Neil. I look forward to it. Last year, Count and I had a blast, and it's really cool to be actually coming back and doing this.
Do you know how many people I did get texts from people or emails. They loved you, dude.
I know.
They loved you.
It's not hard to. I'm just saying.
Everybody loved you, Bob. You know, and if I want to give the customers the best, I know who to go to be the best, and that's Bob from Bob After Dark.
Oh man, Neil, that makes my heart warm. You hear that, Count Panic? Somebody was excited to have me around.
Bob, everybody's excited to have you around.
Yeah, I know. Neil, where can people find out more about Graveside Paranormal and all of our tours, and not just mine and your tours, but the other things going on with the company as well, all throughout the month?
Yeah, you'll go to Graveside, SIDE, paranormal.com, and you can go on there and you'll see the whole thing at the top. I believe it's at the top of the webpage where you can see all of our tours that we're going to be doing this year. We got a lot of tours I'm doing this year, Bob. I mean, I have another thing called Spirits with Spirits. That's a presentation as well as tours. We have a thing. Did you ever hear of a place called the Lyric Theater in Blue Island, Illinois?
I have, yes.
So they contacted me about 3 weeks ago. They said, Neil, we got something going on here. And we went out there. I went out there with Larry Eisler. He's the guy who's doing who's going to be doing the directing and filmmaking for the seance. We went out there, and we were only there 2.5 hours, and we caught a whole bunch of EVPs inside that place, personal experiences. So we're going to be showcasing the evidence of what we got, as thing that they're calling, the Lyric Theater is calling the Spookeasy, on Halloween night at 7 o'clock. We are going to show you a presentation and show you the evidence that we gathered.
That makes me so excited to hear.
It's going to be a good time.
Absolutely. Neil, from Graveside Paranormal, everybody. Neil, one last thing, because I forgot to bring it up to you. Geez, I just lost my train of thought. You also run a paranormal podcast. Talk about that for us a quick second.
Oh, yeah. The Paranormal Guys podcast is a play on words. It's PAIR-A-N normal normal guys podcast. That's with me and Mr. Scotty Rourke. Psychic Medium's been on like all the shows, you know, like the Travel Channel and all that stuff. He's a great guy. He is my co-host on the Paranormal Guys podcast. You can check us out. We actually got a new episode coming out tomorrow with Zach Wenzel about his special project called the Limestone Project.
Awesome. We're looking forward to that. Neil, thanks for staying up and waiting for us. I know these days you're a little bit more taking it easy late at night. You don't have to be up late anymore, Neil.
Yeah, I know I could, but I choose to.
Fair enough. Thank you so much for calling in, Neil. We appreciate you.
All right, and to everybody, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween time. It's busy time now, baby.
Boo.
Boo. Hello, Count Panic.
There we go.
There we
go.
Yeah,
what a star-studded show.
We have, it's never often that I am 40 minutes in. We haven't really started the show yet.
And South Shore Steph is still...
she's a trooper, Baz. She's still back there?
She is back.
She's a trooper. Good job. The camera's blocking my view. This woman has shown up to our studio to come hang out and watch us do this, and she decided to come and watch the show that's filled with a bunch of guests.
Well, she booked... she was the one that kind of booked the first one, and she was like, hey, can you have... Reaper's Realm on. We're like, who are we?
Who are we to say no?
My
seat is open. It's open to anybody that hangs out in my realm of reality.
There you go.
So Count Panic, real quick. You come here. You want to come here too? I got. Look, the microphone's already hot, man. You want to come sit down? You can tell us some ghost stories. I know the CVA's on it. I was the one shooting some of those ghost videos of Dillinger stuff.
No?
No, I remember when the Dillinger Museum was there and we had the ghost hanging around Andy Collins caught.
When the Dillinger Museum probably had some stuff.
There was a famous video that Andy caught on like a security footage of legitimate paranormal activity happening when we had the Dillinger stuff on site at the CVA.
That was where's that now?
They don't have the John Dillinger stuff anymore, but when it was there, I'm telling you.
Crown Point, but I don't know.
Anyway, so Count, did you know that Bob After Dark is a weekly show where we talk about legends, lore, and supernatural things that go bump in the night, lights in the sky, weird cryptid stories, and of course Count Panic's favorite not candy object to get for Halloween?
Not candy object to get for Halloween.
Yeah, you ever go trick-or-treating and a person gives you a can of pop or some chips or something?
I had a can of root beer before.
That's a good present, man. Was it Barks?
It was, it might have been.
Oh, my God. You were treated to royalty, my friend.
And I never, beside that house, I really never got a can of a pop from anybody. But you know what? I mean, if we're going to put that on a list, yes, that would be great.
You know, my mother and aunt used to take me out trick-or-treating all the time, and we hit up all the extremely, deserted bars.
Yeah.
The old man bars, as we would call it, that my parents would either have bartended at or did business with the bar owner. And we would go to Dusty's Tap and Good Time Chuck's, and we would go in there and for trick-or-treating because no one went. You get a big old haul of candy, you'd get a bag of chips and a soda can.
How was Whiting for trick-or-treating?
I spent a lot of time doing it as a kid, so that was it.
Because Roxana, which is part of East Chicago, that's a very hopping part for trick-or-treating. The rest of East Chicago would come to Roxana. So it was always a big event.
We went to Robertsdale all the time. That's where we went.
Full-size candy.
Nobody trick-or-treated back there, so we got all the candy. But anywho, we're like those guys you see on TV that also do the paranormal stuff, except we have a sense of humor. Usually we divide up the show into two parts. The first part of the show is the weird, spooky news of the week. That's where you, the fans, and me, the Bob, go scouring the internet for news articles that are strange and unusual. Anything from cryptids making it into major media or ghost sightings, lights in the sky being photographed, or advances in science that borderline on science fiction. There are no news articles this week, folks. We had two guests before, so we're just going to go dive right into the lore of the week.
Yeah.
Lore of the week is ripped right from the pages of Dr. Ben Vanderson. That is the meat and potatoes of the episode. Count Panic eats the meat and I eat the potatoes because I'm the vegetarian of the group. So when we're doing that sort of a thing, Count Panic... That's the meat. He's the stunt Bob, if you will.
Vampire.
And Count.
That's that meat.
Yes, Count Panic. I have something really exciting for us this month. I talked about it last week's episode.
Oh, really?
And that's our theme for the month.
Yeah.
So, Bob After Dark slogan. There's actually two. So, Legends, Lore, and Supernatural podcast. That's our official slogan, and then there's an unofficial slogan. I don't know if I could share that on air or not. Usually it inquires spirits, if you catch my drift. But no, so Legends, Lore, and the Supernatural, and what is the first one we have there is Legends, and what is a synonym, that's the word, not the spice, but not the spice, but when words mean the same thing but are two different words.
Yeah.
In this case, legends and fairy tales go hand in hand. We talk a lot about fables on the show, usually with a little bit more of a darker twist to them, or, a parable that, why do we tell these monster stories? We look at those and we try to find out why people were telling these stories of the creatures that we did. So this entire month is dedicated to the true story of fairy tales. So in order to tell you the true story of fairy tales, Count, I got to take you back.
Oh, take me back where?
I got to take you back to a very long time ago in the year of 1812.
1812.
And I got to talk to you about two brothers that were pretty much in charge of creating all of the modern fairy tales that we know today, but with the actual story truths behind them. So let's talk a little bit about who the Brothers Grimm are, okay? And this is, I'm reading this from the Encyclopedia Britannica. So this is legit.
It's legit.
It's legit. Did your parents have an Encyclopedia Britannica set when you were younger? Yeah, I remember. Yeah. We had world books, but anyway. The Brothers Grimm are two German folklorists and linguists who are today best known for their Kinder- und Hausmärchen from 1812 to 1822. These collection of stories were called Grimm's Fairy Tales in the English world, led to the modern study of folklore. They are amongst the most German scholars of their time. The Brothers Grimm is Jacob Ludwig Karl Grimm. He was born in 1785 and died in 1863. The other brother was Wilhelm Karl Grimm, born in 1786 and died in 1859. They together compiled several collections of folk music and folk literature. Jacob did important work in historical linguistics and German philosophy, which included the formation of Grimm's Law, a notable contribution to the study of Indo-European languages. So Jacob and Wilhelm were the oldest in the family of 5 brothers and 1 sister. Their father, Philip, was a lawyer and a town clerk in Hanau, and later jurisdictory in Stanu, another Hessen town. By the way, guys, I speak German, so this is a lot easier for me than what you normally
How
catch.
about that?
Trying to catch me to, like, trying to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
This is a lot easier for me, so I'm not embarrassing myself in front of our studio guest this week. And then his father was a minister of the Calvinistic Reformed Church. The father's death in 1796 brought social hardships to the family. The death of their mother in 1808 left 23-year-old Jacob with the responsibility of 4 brothers and 1 sister. Jacob's scholarly type was small and slender and with sharply cut features, while Wilhelm was taller, had a softer face, and was social and fond of arts. After attending the high school in Kassel, the brothers followed in their father's footsteps and studied law at the University of Marburg, and in the intention of entering civil science. At Marburg, they came under influence of Clemens Bernthau, who awakened in both their love of folklore and poetry, and Friedrich Karl von Sagning, the co-founder of this.
Keep talking.
All right, sorry about that, folks. A little technical difficulties. Johann Gottfried von Herder was their ideas on folk poetry. Essentially, they remained individuals creating work according to their own principles. In 1805, Jacob accompanied Sagny to Paris to research legal manuscripts on the Middle Ages, and the following year he became the secretary to the War Office in Kassel. Because of his wealth, Wilhelm remained without regular employment until 1814. Long story short, the 2 brothers were putting a lot of this together, and they were during their time they were writing a lot of things that were fashionable in the Gothic Romanticism period in the 18th and 19th centuries. You see a lot of people writing stuff about the world that they lived in back then, and especially during like those early times in like the German country. The stuff that the Grimm brothers were exposed to were nothing like what we have now. I mean, people were dying of hunger and starvation in the streets. People were selling their families to try to make ends meet. And unfortunately, they were witness to all kinds of brutal nonsense going around in the world around them. And it just came out in their fairy tales. Now, we have stories out there across the world of different fairy tales that are presented to us by the Grimm's brothers. And so all of this month, we were talking a little bit about their background and their writing of fairy tales and how they differ from what we got here in the West. So, Count, if I asked you, what is the most famous line in fairy tale history?
The most famous line in fairy tale history?
Yes.
Ooh, jeez. Is it like 3 Little Pigs?
Hansel and Gretel. Or no, the famous line, where I said the topic.
From the
famous line, and we lived happily ever after.
Okay.
And
You
they
said
lived
from
happily
all
ever.
fairy tales.
That is never the case in a.
All right.
That is hardly ever the case in these stories.
Not by the hair of my
chinny chin. I don't think the 3 Little Pigs was a Grimm fairy tale. However, they did write a story called Hansel and Gretel, which was this was. The first edition was an 1812 count. Now, what do you know about the Hansel and Gretel that we know that was, I want to say, boiled down to the bare minimum of what we have here in the West?
What is it?
What's the story? I'm asking. What's the story that you know?
Well, it's about the kids that were.
Yeah, so tell me what you know about
man,
what.
Bob, it's been since I was a kid.
Well, do your
so
best.
The 2 kids, they went into the woods and for food, right? For candy.
Yes.
And then they came across this house that was made of candy, and they started eating the house, right? but there was a witch living at that house.
They always had to blame witches, by the way. We're not doing that in 2024. If
Well,
I
the
had to
story goes
rewrite,
it's a witch.
it was a witch. In 2024, Bob Grimm's version of Hansel and Gretel, we don't go after the witch type anymore, folks. That's not okay. So instead, we go after not nice people. Yes. I don't know what that is. So that's who it is in the 2024 version. However, yes,
the classic story, though,
classic story, it was a witch.
The witch brings them in the house and feeds them, only because she wants to eat them, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So you might want, in the story is Hansel and Gretel went wandering in the woods to go, just to go on a little adventure. And little did they know that they found the house made out of candy and they ate it. And then the witch was trying to get clever. And there are many variations to the story. In fact, I have a first edition from 1812 here, written word from word. This was printed in the Pittsburgh University of Pittsburgh website, and I have a final edition in 1857. Now, the two editions couldn't be farther different a piece, because once again, when we're looking at the concept of what was originally written, the Grimm's brothers wrote that as a reflection on the world around them, and it wasn't a very pretty world. So, I will read you guys a little bits and pieces of the story, because it's an extremely long one. If I was to sit here, I'd be putting you all to sleep. But stop me if you've never heard this part of the story before. And let me do a quick pin in place. I know the show is typically family-friendly. I pride myself in being a family-friendly show. Maybe for the youngest of audiences, this one might be a little too scary for them. I'm just tossing out a warning. This is how it was written. This is literature in the purest form, guys. So just bear with me as I tell you all the real fairy tale story of Hansel and Gretel. All right, so next to a great forest, there lived a poor woodcutter who had come home upon such hard times that he could scarcely provide daily bread for his wife and two children, Hansel and Gretel. Finally, he could no longer even manage this, and he did not know where to turn for help. One evening, as he was lying in bed worrying about his problems, his wife said to him, "Listen, man, early tomorrow, take the two children, give them each a little piece of bread, and lead them into the middle of the thickest part of the woods. Make a fire for them. Leave them there, for we can no longer feed them." That's where we're going to stop for our first pin. Count. Do you remember Hansel and Gretel's mom trying to tell them to send the kids out in the woods because we can't feed them anymore?
No, not in the fairy tale.
No, that wasn't
that was left out.
Also, I want to point something out to you guys, that in the later versions of the Hansel and Gretel fairy tale, they talk the story about their mother. There is no story of this woman being their mother. They just refer to the character as the wife, which leads me to wonder if this is the stepmom and why she's being so cold towards Hansel and Gretel. So, the man replies, "In the correct way you probably should." "No, woman," said the man. "I cannot bring myself to abandon my own children to wild animals that would quickly tear them into pieces." "If you won't do it," said the woman, "all of us will starve together," and she gave him no peace until he said yes. The two children were still awake from hunger and heard everything that the mother had said to the father. Gretel thought that she was doomed to began crying pitifully, but Hansel said, "Be quiet, Gretel, and don't worry, I know what to do." With that, he got up, pulled on his jacket, opened the lower door, and crept outside. The moon was shining brightly, and the white pebbles were glistening like silver coins. Hansel bent over and filled his jacket with them, as many as he could fit. Then he went back into the house and said, "Don't worry, Gretel, sleep well," and he went back to bed and fell asleep. The next morning, the mother came in and woke them both before sunrise. "Get up, you children, we are going into the woods. Here's a little bit of bread. Take care and save it until midday." Gretel put the bread under her apron because Hansel's pockets were so full of stones, and they set forth into the woods. After they walked for a little bit of a while, Hansel began stopping and again looking toward the house. The father said, "Hansel, why are you stopping and looking back? Pay attention now and keep up with us." "Oh, father, I'm looking up at my white cat who is sitting on the roof and wants to say goodbye to me." And the woman snarled, "You fool, that isn't your cat. That's just the morning sun shining off of that chimney." However, Hansel was not been looking at his cat, but instead been dropping the silvery, shiny pebbles from his pocket onto the path. When they arrived in the middle of the woods, the father said, You children gather some wood. You children gather some wood, and I can make a fire so we won't freeze." Hansel and Gretel together Hansel and Gretel gathered some twigs together and made a pile as high as a small mountain. They set it afire, and when the flames were burning well, the woman said, "Lie down by the fire and sleep. We will go into the woods and cut down some trees. Wait until we come back and get you." Hansel and Gretel sat by the fire until midday and ate their bread. They sat until evening, but the father and mother never returned, and no one came to get them. When it became dark, Gretel began to cry, but Hansel said, "Wait until the moon comes up." After the moon had come up, he took Gretel by the hand. The pebbles weren't lying like the newly minted coins, glistening. They showed their way back home. They walked throughout the entire night, and as morning was breaking, they arrived at their father's house. The father was overjoyed when he saw the children once more, and he had not wanted them to leave them alone. The mother pretended that she was happy, but secretly she was angry. Not long afterward, there was again no bread in the house, and one evening Hansel and Gretel heard the mother say to the father, "The children found their way back once, and I let it be, but not again. We only have a half a loaf of bread in the house. Tomorrow you must take them deeper into the woods so they can't find their way home. Otherwise there will be no help for us." The man was very disheartened, and he thought it would be better to share the last bit with the children, but because he had done it once, he could not say no. Hansel and Gretel heard the parents' conversation once again. Hansel got up and wandered to get pebbles again, but when he came to the door, he found that his mother had locked it. Still, he comforted Gretel and said, "Just go to sleep, Gretel dear. God will help us." Early the next morning, they received their little pieces of bread, even less than the last time. On the way, Hansel crumbled up his piece in his pocket, and then often stood still and threw crumbs onto the ground. "Why are you always stopping and looking around?" said his father. "Keep walking straight ahead." "Oh, I can see my pigeon sitting on the roof. It wants to say goodbye to me." "You fool," said the mother. "That isn't your pigeon. That's just the morning sun on the chimney." But Hansel crumbled all his bread and dropped the crumbs on the path. The mother took them deeper into the woods than they have ever been in their whole lifetime. Then they were told to sleep by a large fire, and the parents would come back and get them in the evening. At midday, Gretel shared her bread with Hansel because they had scattered all along the path. Midday passed and evening passed, but no one came to get the poor children. Hansel comforted Gretel and said, "Waiting when the moon comes up, I will be able to see the crumbs of the bread I scattered, and they will show us our way back home." The moon came up, but when Hansel went looking for the crumbs, they were gone. The many thousands of birds in the woods had come and picked them up. Hansel thought he would still be able to find his way home, and he and Gretel set forth, but soon they became totally lost in the great wilderness. They walked through the night and entire next day, and then, exhausted, they fell asleep. They walked another day, but they could not find their way out of the woods. They were terribly hungry, for they had only eaten a few small berries they were growing on the ground. On the third day, they walked until midday, when they came into a little house built entirely from bread, with the roof made of cake, and the windows were made of clear sugar. "Let's sit down and eat our fill," said Hansel. "I'll eat from the roof, and Gretel, you eat from the window. That'll be nice and sweet for you." Hansel had just eaten a piece from the roof, and Gretel eaten a few pieces from the window panes, and she broken out one from another, and she heard a gentle voice calling inside, "Nibble, nibble, little mouse, who is nibbling at my house?" Hansel and Gretel were so frightened that they dropped what they were holding in their hands, and immediately they saw a little old woman, as old as the hills, creeping out the door. She shook her head and said, "Oh, you dear children, where did you come from? Come inside with me. You will be just fine." She took them by the hand and led them into the house. She served them a good meal, pancakes with sugar, apples, and nuts, and made 2 nice beds for them. Hansel and Gretel went to bed thinking that this was their version of a personal heaven, but the old woman was a wicked witch who was lying in wait for the children. She had built her house of bread in order to lure them to her, and if she captured one, she would kill him, cook him, eat him, and for her that was a day to celebrate. So she was overjoyed that Hansel and Gretel found their way to her. Early the next morning, before they awoke, she got up, went to their beds, and looked at the 2 of them lying there so peacefully. "They won't be a good mouthful," she thought. She grabbed Hansel and put him in a little stall, and when he awoke, he found himself in a cage, locked up like a young dog, where he could only walk but a few steps. Then she took Gretel and cried, "Get up, lazy bones, fetch water, go into the kitchen and cook something to eat. Your brother is locked in that stall there. I want to fatten him up, and when he is fat, I'm going to eat him." For now, you have to feed him. Gretel was frightened and cried, but she had to do what the witch demanded. Hansel was given the best things to eat every day, so he would get fat, but Gretel received nothing but crayfish shells. Ever the day the old woman came and said, Hansel, stick out your fingers so I can feel if you are fat enough yet. Hansel stuck out a little bone, and she wondered why he didn't get fatter. After 4 weeks, one evening, she said to Gretel, Hurry up and fetch some water. Whether your brother is fat enough now, tomorrow I'm going to slaughter and boil him. In the meantime, I want to set the dough that we will bake to go with him. With a sad heart, Gretel fetched the water in which Hansel was to be boiled. The next morning, Gretel got up early, made a fire, and hung the kettle with water. Watch until it boils, said the witch. I am going to make a fire in the oven and put in the bread to it. Gretel stood in the kitchen and cried tears of blood, and thought that it would have been better if wild animals had devoured them in the woods, for then they would have at least died together and not be suffering so. And she herself would not be boiling the water that would then kill her dear brother, and she prayed, Dear God, save us poor children. And the old woman called out, Gretel, come right here to the oven now. And then when Gretel came, she said, Look inside and see if the bread is nicely brown and done, for my eyes are weak and I can't see that far. If you can't see that far either, then just sit on the board and I'll push you inside. Then you can walk inside and take a look. But once Gretel was inside, the witch intended to close the door and bake her in the hot oven and eat her as well. That is what the wicked witch was thinking, and that is why she called Gretel. However, God let Gretel know this, and so she said, I don't know how to do that. First, show me. You sit on the board and I'll push you inside. So the old woman sat on the board, and since she was light, Gretel pushed all of her way inside and quickly closed the door, securing it with an iron bar. The old woman in the oven began to cry and wail, but Gretel ran away, and the old woman burned up miserably. Gretel ran to Hansel and unlocked his door. He jumped out. They embraced and were overjoyed. The whole house was filled with precious stones and pearls. They filled their pockets, and they ran away and found their way back home. The father rejoiced when he saw them once more, for he had not had a happy day since they had been gone, and now he was a rich man. However, the mother had died. The end.
That's abrupt.
Yeah, that's the story. Yeah, Hansel and Gretel. So what differs that from what you remember as a kid?
It's a lot darker, Bob, for sure. The mom at the end is there as well. But, as a kid, it was just a basic fairy tale. The kids are hungry. They go eat the house, and which they escape, of course, and all of that. But this one a little more, should I use the pun, grim than what I remember it.
Yeah, Boots. Yeah, so the Grimm brothers had these books, they told all these story tales, and each one is incredibly dark and is definitely a product of its time where we don't have that now. No. In the story, the mother was amped to get rid of them kids, and every version I have heard other than the original, usually they just kind of wandered out in the woods.
Yeah.
And they found this house. Mm-hmm. Usually there's the witch, I know that much, and usually she's there to, try to eat the children. But never in a way of locking Hansel up in a cage for an extended period of time. You go back and listen to the fairy tale in the West End of the versions that we got. Seems like it happens all really quick within a day. This was a prolonged period of time of her torturing Gretel and Hansel, specifically Gretel, by trying to get her to fatten up Hansel and then providing the things that would later kill her own brother.
It's a lot more integral than I remember it, Bob.
It is definitely dark, and I'm so excited to be able to share that story with all of you guys.
I want to tell that to kids maybe before bed.
I warned you guys. I said, hey, guys, maybe this isn't the best thing for my tiny Ghoul Scouts. I warned you.
But I think it's good for when they get older. But, Bob, that was a heck of a tale. I'm sure to remember it. Keep me up at night.
Absolutely. Let's talk real fast about some things that are going to be happening from this weekend till the end of the month.
Okay.
All right. Let's begin. So this weekend I'm going to be at Wickedly Whiting, going live and meeting fans all throughout the weekend at the Paw Star booth. I will be there.
That's breaking news.
Yeah, it is breaking news. I will be there all day, every day, Friday and Saturday. You guys come up and come say hi to me. I'll be going live every day around the area so you guys can see Wickedly Whiting for yourselves. Count Panic is going to make an appearance at some point, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm going to try to aim for that maybe later Saturday night then.
Excellent. So outside of that, the following week, I will be at... where will I be? Oh, I'll be in West Virginia, right outside Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Yes, Count Panic Bob gets to finally see the Mothman statue in person.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Wow. That's where you're going.
I am. I'm going to West Virginia. I'm going to be at SubasaCon, and there will be an unofficial Bob After Dark fan meetup there if people are around for that. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. Weekend coming back, I have... Oh boy, Friday I'm on the Graveside Paranormal Tour with Neil. Saturday is my big fundraiser for Extra Life at Sony Wonderverse. I have a lot of things coming up. There will be a graphic of all of my appearances, plus a new one that you and I are booking now for Reaper's Realm.
And we're doing library appearances.
Oh geez, next Monday, the 7th, you and I are going to be at the Highland Public Library. That's at 7 o'clock.
Okay, so let's get that.
Yes, that one's first.
So if you're listening to this
this will be coming out. This is coming out before that comes out.
Before that. So this is this Monday. What's
this upcoming Monday, the 7th?
The 7th at the Highland.
At the Highland Public Library,
Indiana.
Yes, at 7 o'clock.
At 7 o'clock.
Yes, and you guys can come see me and Count Panic. It's free to go there and come see us live.
We're reading books.
We'll be. I'm not reading a book. We're telling some local haunted stories about the area.
Okay.
And then you and I will also be at the Markstown Library. We have a lot of events.
Yeah, but that's later in the month.
Yes. Also, did you know that it's Bob After Dark's birthday on Thursday of this week? It's my birthday.
The shows
in 2
are
days.
yours.
What? My birthday.
Your personal birthday.
The show's birthday is in 2 weeks.
We started the show in October.
We started the show in October. Our 5th completed year is this year.
So your birthday and the show's birthday are kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, 1 week is my birthday. 1 week is the birthday of Bob After Dark. So this week, come say hi to me, celebrate my birthday at Wickedly Whiting.
What do you get the guy that has everything?
Honestly, just for my fans to stay wonderful and for you just to be the most amazing producer in the world.
We should have brought. I should have had a giant. Is it too late to get a giant cake wheeled out here?
You could do that later. Not a big deal.
Kind of crazy, but no, Bob. Happy early birthday!
Thank you, Count.
Wish it to you again next week when you're the official. How old are you turning, Bob?
34.
34.
Old man now.
A lucky age.
Something like that. Yeah. No, my golden birthday was 3.
Oh, I thought it was 30.
Anyway, Count. Do you have any closing words for our audience this evening?
What was going? I thought I had something to say. Maybe I don't.
Avoid them gingerbread houses in the woods.
Avoid the gingerbread houses.
This is in the woods. They're bad news bears.
I felt like am I forgetting? We talked about the Highland. Oh wait, I was going to bring this up because I saw you do it. You did the first day already of your
31. Yes.
And I watched that.
Oh, thank you. What'd you think?
You got it in 31 seconds.
31 seconds.
That was amazing.
I totally forgot. There is so much stuff. This episode is more playing catch-up for the month of October than actual content.
Are you still taking suggestions of movies?
Yes. I will take very specific ones for very specific people.
So they give you a horror movie you have to watch.
I will put it on the list, and I spin a wheel every day.
Yes.
So tomorrow will be a new video. Then after that.
31-second review.
31-second review.
That was what I was
My first one was Dawn of the Dead, the 1978 one. Check it out.
Seconds, yeah.
All right, folks, thank you for watching and listening to another episode of Bob After Dark. On behalf of me and Count Panic, we just want to wish you all sweet dreams and good night. To my mom, to love you, sweet dreams. To Tiff, no matter where you are in the world, I hope you have the sweetest dreams of them all. And to Dad, no matter where you are in the universe, I hope you're happy, comfortable doing whatever it is that you want to be doing. Good night, everybody, and remember the 2 most important rules of Bob After Dark are not all who wander are lost, and as above, so below. Until next time.
Memoriam Development.